We are honored this evening to have with us once again Penny Lewandowski. She is the Director of Entrepreneurship Development at the Edward Lowe Foundation. If you've had the opportunity to be here on previous years, I think you will definitely find her remarks very inspiring. She oversees the National Companies to Watch program. In 2003, the Kauffman Foundation named Penny as the recipient of its prestigious National Supporter of Entrepreneurship Award. Please welcome once again Penny to the stage.
All right. So it's been a great evening so far, don't you think? Yeah. So, but now it's time to kind of kick back a little bit. Relax, settle in. Shh. Works every time. If we were in kindergarten, I'd have you get your nap mats, so we kind of needed to do the shh thing, and get you around in a circle because it's story time. So I'm a big believer in the power of storytelling. I think it is our single most reliable way to get the word out about our companies and our communities. I mean, after all, if we don't tell our stories, who will? And if we do rely on somebody else to tell them, will they get them right? And will they make them compelling enough? So to illustrate my belief in the power of storytelling, I have to, no big surprise here, tell you a story. And my story starts as all good stories do. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, which is actually South Bend, Indiana, where I live, I took my bike to the local bike store for a repair. And so the guy who waited on me was new. I'd never seen him before, and that made me a little nervous because I said, what bike store did you work at before? And he said, oh, I've never worked at a bike store before. And I thought, wow, he's going to do the repair on my bike. And he went on to say that he was an architect. And he said that he had owned his own business, but when times got tough, he simply couldn't sustain it, and that's why he was working at the bike store. And without hesitation, he smiled and said, you know, what was once my passion, biking, is now my job. And what was once my job, architecture, is now my passion. So first of all, it was obvious that this was a guy who knew how to turn a challenge into an opportunity, and he knew how to tell his story, and he knew how to make it compelling. And I walked away impressed. Now, all of us can tell nice general stories about where we live and what's going on, but I've been trying to get people to learn 3 compelling stories about companies in their region. And then that way, the next time somebody says, you know, hey, what's going on in Colorado? You ready, man? You got your stories. So we're going to practice that tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of Colorado's nice stories, and we're going to turn them into your compelling stories. So here's a nice story. So Colorado companies are really innovative. I mean, they're doing some amazing things in technology and energy and health sciences, and I don't know, it just seems like there are new products that are coming out every day. That's a nice story. Here's a compelling story. Let me tell you about this company called A-Gloves. So they invented and commercialized the first winter touchscreen gloves, which means that you can now text your friends while you're downhill skiing. You know, probably not your smartest move, but just think how easy it's going to be to call those paramedics when you need to. So the nurses cheered. I mean, they cheered when they saw Beacon Communications product that helped patients who couldn't use their arms or their hands to call the nurses' call center station simply by speaking. Now, SkyFuel offers the lowest cost, highest performance, utility scale parabolic trough system on the market. Now, I have to admit, I don't know exactly what that means, but I think I sound really smart when I say utility scale parabolic trough system. So I'm going to use it in a sentence at the cocktail hour. So here's another nice story. So there are a lot of states that define industry segments, and they go after those, and some of them have found that to be really successful. Well, Colorado does this inherently because the companies so well reflect the spirit of its citizens. And it also means that the state's industries are incredibly diverse, and it keeps the economy strong when those, industry pendulums start to swing. That's a nice story, don't you think? So here's a compelling story. If I was sitting next to somebody on an airplane talking about Colorado, I would say that the people of Colorado are near and dear to my heart for a number of different reasons, and one of them is their appreciation of food, and that they have a very strong industry segment to support that. And I would tell them about 34 Degrees. That 34 Degrees developed a whole grain crisp cracker that found national fame on the Today Show, as well as Cooking Light and health magazines. Boulder Ice Cream launched Sorrento Gelato, the first nationally distributed gelato on the market. Rocky Mountain Popcorn Company, their innovative manufacturing process and their technology led to their award-winning grab-and-go packaging. And then thanks to Gateway Products, their creation of flavorings and formulations that make their products more palatable to horses. So I was thinking about that. And so I guess that means that those busy on-the-go mares no longer have to put up with colts who spit out their food because it tastes funny. I don't know, more palatable to horses, that works for me. So here's another nice story. So remember back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, we always heard about really cool company cultures and people were playing foosball and all that stuff. And it seems like that coolness never left Colorado. And so I hear a lot of stories about cultures in Colorado companies that are anything but traditional. That's a nice story. Here's a compelling story. So opening their doors with just 3 employees, Madwire Media's now 85 plus employees are often called the superheroes of web design and internet marketing. And so that means in their new building, it's decked out with these life-size superheroes. So if you saw somebody at the reception wearing a cape, they probably work for Madwire. But sign me up to work for SingGrid, because they took all of their employees to Cancun for 4 days. Yeah, so I'll be putting my resume in there to see where you're going next year. And they also have an unlimited supply of food from Chipotle. And I'm trying to figure out how that kind of balances with Mobile Epiphanies has an unlimited supply of ramen noodles. And so we were talking about the office. It's like maybe one man's burrito is kind of like another man's noodle, but I don't know. Solid Fire employees watch sitcoms during their weekly lunch and laughs. And the partners from Altitude Digital Partners say that their office looks more like a rock and roll hall of fame in a botanical garden than a traditional office space. And I'm having a little trouble picturing that, so I think I'd like a tour of that one. So here's a nice story. So regardless of the economy, whatever it looks like, good or bad, Colorado companies absolutely understand the power of giving back. Their leaders exemplify it, their employees embrace it, their companies and their communities are better because of it. Colorado companies have heart. But if somebody were to ask me about the philanthropic nature of Colorado, here's the compelling story I would tell them. I would tell them that 2% of Applied Trust profits go back into charity every year, that 25 employees from Aircom Corporation donated a Saturday to fix up a house for at-risk teen girls. Geotech is starting a community garden, while Gibson Athletics sends a child to the London Olympics through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We got more. Growers Organics shares 7% of their profits with farmers every year, and the employees at myweddings.com are required to give 20 hours of paid leave time to a charity or a local organization every year. So yeah, Colorado companies have heart. So these are just some of the compelling stories, and we hit, maybe 17 companies. I could stand up here and tell compelling stories about Colorado companies every day. But the effect that all of your companies together have on your economy, that's another compelling story. So I want you to listen to some of these figures. Oops. From 2008 through 2011, your companies generated $964 million in revenue and added 902 employees. And then this year, you project a 47% increase and a 34% revenue increase and a 34% growth in employees compared to 2011. So if those projections hold, you will have generated $1.5 billion in revenue and added over 1,500 employees over the last 5 years. And I want you to listen to these percentages. It's a 199% increase in jobs and 199% increase in revenue, and a 171% increase in jobs since 2008. That's amazing. Absolutely. So there is no doubt that incredible things are happening in Colorado. Companies are growing, more jobs, more money. It's like it has become a movement. And I'm a Seth Godin fan, and he did a blog one time, and he was talking about a movement, and he said a movement has an emotional heart. And then he went on to talk about a philosophy, and he said a philosophy, which is a way of life, can survive things that would wipe out a movement. So I think we can certainly say that Colorado's belief in these growth companies has become a movement. I mean, it has an emotional heart. But has it become a way of life? So to answer that question, I think all you need to do is look around the room. All of you together, your belief in and the support of these amazing companies has absolutely become a way of life. And that, my dear friends, is what is called a philosophy, not to mention a compelling story. Now it's time for my story to come to a close, and my story ends like all good stories do. And they lived happily after. The end. Thank you.